Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me.
Thank God it's Friday.
Talk, man.
We're looking for parity.
Yes, even if I'm in a party mood right now. It's actually this Beyonce song. We have to go and dance at the party. You can't be dancing in the house. We need to go and dance at a party. Hi, Dean Tokwe.
I'm good. So I met this really amazing couple yesterday. I didn't ask for their permission to mention their name, but like such love story, you know. You just see people and you can see that they love each other. And we had this conversation around marriages and about how we don't talk about successful marriages enough. And I said, Mariah has made it a mission that she says over and over again on our Instagram lives that we need to celebrate good marriages because people are developing fear for the institution of marriage.
Yeah.
There are, of course, some tough times, but these people, there's so much love and respect and the communication. You could see it, you know. So I'm also happy to meet you. Thank you for your warmth in reception and, you know.
Any plans for the weekend? Right?
I need to rest.
Yeah. And the kids are starting school next week, so you might as well be around this week.
Yeah.
This weekend.
I'm going to rest. That's the only plan for this weekend. Even though I know I'll be on the phone most of the time, but
I went to school shopping. I went to school shopping. Went to buy socks. I don't have even bought socks because they're not going to be doing
they're resuming
P.
physically.
Yeah,
Taking them.
I'm doing physical, and we're doing blended.
3 days on.
Yeah, like that.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
My
Dean.
kids are not going anywhere till next year.
I just want them to leave the house. I think let us get
let
some
them stay.
breather.
I'm enjoying them. In the house. I'm doing amazing. So usually Fridays we do a book review, my book club where we talk about what we've learned from the particular book, ask questions. But I'm thinking this Friday is usually 9 p.m. I'm thinking instead of just talking about books, let's just talk about what sort of things has been happening since they joined the book club. Just share experiences. What have you learned? What have you been practicing in your everyday life? It's more about
To make it more engaging and interactive.
We're
not
just going to
read
gist tonight,
yeah.
so
Okay,
no
nice.
plenty reading.
I like the hair though.
Thank you.
That's you also?
Yes.
Anything I wear is by me right now.
I didn't
I'm
know.
about to become ambassador.
Okay, let me run before I pray, because it's my son's birthday today.
Oh!
Imran is 4 today.
Wow! Happy birthday, Imran.
But our dearest governor and the Minister for Transportation, you visited Marina and decided to clear it and brought chaos and madness to Badagry Expressway. I didn't get home on Wednesday till 9 after I left my office at 2. And same this morning. So I couldn't pass to my 2 till past 7 this morning, even though I left home before 6 because, of course, the activities of all the containers trying to turn and take advantage of the terminals on that axis.
Right.
I'd also like the Sun newspaper, being resident in that madness, to write and do a thorough article, the way we take on Daily Trust, on that thing happening there. The way Vanguard focused on Apapa, let them focus on what is happening. So the governor and government knows exactly what they're putting residents through. We suffered enough on that road.
Right.
Now that sanity was just coming, you people took it back.
Right.
Please, if you are not going to regulate the activities, please don't let them come. That's not an alternative for them. Well, happy birthday, my darling.
I don't get it.
Happy birthday to you.
Let's just quickly
No.
leave that.
I was all about Imran this morning until I went into that
traffic,
I had to start to drive farther. You know, you are going to Sokoto, then you have to go to Kano, and then you turn. It's not food at all.
And happy birthday to Imran. God bless you.
Yes,
Many
Imran
more
is
years.
Testimony.
He's
He's a testimony.
hospital.
Yes, he's a testimony.
And it's not about his birthday as far as he's concerned. He just wants to be, Mommy, can you take me to work?
He's your
I'm
Yibo
singing,
son.
Can I go with
I don't know where
you?
you got it from.
The boy know the
Yibo son.
Mama Laulu Eshe.
Before we run off, let me just take this message. Barrister Samson Oloyo asked me to help his mother, to send a message to his mother. She's a fan of your view. His brother passed on in South Africa. He was a medical doctor. I passed out, I think, Thursday the 10th, and they had a memorial for him. His mother is 70 years old, and he's saying that we should pray that God will give her the strength to bear the loss. He was a successful young man in South Africa, and unfortunately, he passed on. And the family has been really, they've been mourning, and just to encourage her, that, you know, Anirueri and Ojoajin, Iremo, and Ojoajin Asirawa, may he so rest in peace. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Okay, we're gonna start with the punch. Federal government orders school to conduct weekly COVID-19 assessment. Picture here of soldiers, police in show of force as gridlock grounds, Benin. Policeman arrested as girlfriend dies in Lagos hotel. Fani Kayode wife separate ex-minister demands 2 billion naira from blogger. Caution your supporters, Akeredolu tells Jegede after clash. PDP berates Fayemi on Ekiti rising killings and kidnapping. Port Harcourt Maiduguri rail line construction begins soon, says Amechi. Babalakin faults panel. Resigns as using like pro-chancellor. Okay, which story are we taking here?
The human angle story.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Police Sergeant Anthony Kachuku has been arrested by men of the Lagos State Police Command after his girlfriend died in a hotel room. So they went to the hotel together. He went into the toilet to do something. And by the time he came back, he realized that the lady who was sitting up had fallen and hit her head on the floor and died immediately. So he had to touch her to confirm he was dead, and then raised an alarm. And she's been taken to, she was taken to the hospital, then taken to a morgue. But the family of the deceased are saying that they don't want to press charges. They know they were in the know that they had a relationship going on, so they are not suspecting any foul play. And so they don't want an autopsy. They just want to give us the corpse. Let's just bury our dead.
Okay, let's talk about Balaki for a moment, or the major headline.
Yes, after the panel has completed the panel set up to look into the issues and Unilag reached their decision. Balaki has accused the panel of being unobjective and decided to resign, saying that the panel was, the conclusion of the resolution of the panel was predetermined before it was set up. The Minister for Education received the report of the panel and decided to keep quiet about what is in the letters, but they've looked into the matter, and he has commended the panel for doing and working within time for which it was set up.
Moving on now to The Nation. Edo, Buhari warns against violence and rigging of poll. APC preaches peace as PDP protests. INEC promises fairness, tight security in state. COVID-19 infections going down, says PTF. Death after castration for rape of minor. Kaduna goes tough. And Transcorp hits as hospitality loses $50 billion to coronavirus. Okay.
Let's go with the Kaduna State. Yes, so the penal code for 2020 in Kaduna State has been amended to include convicted rapists. Convicted rapists would be castrated and executed, so to speak. So this resulted at, I think about in July, they had the national report gave that we had about 717 rape cases, and in Kaduna it was almost 485, and they said that was just the ones that were reported at the referral center, not according to the security agencies. They had their own report as well. And then they had cases of, there was this major one we talked about, a 13-year-old who was gang raped by 4 men. So it was very prevalent in the society, and they decided to carry out this law. Now, one thing I read about the law is that they have categories of exactly what punishment to be meted. So if you are going to be castrated, even the females, their fallopian tubes could be removed and all of that. So it was broken down to
invasion. Anyway, I'm sure the human rights, they're going to come up with something, because they're two different sides of the argument. On how you can do this. But I wanted to take a story concerning COVID-19. PTS have said that there's a noticeable decline in the amount of cases we're having. However, we must be vigilant, because as we know, the flights are open, people are going to be coming in from different parts of the world. So we also need to ensure that we continue to maintain social distancing and adhere to the guidelines that we set.
That the NMA has queried that conclusion, saying that if you can give us the numbers, don't say because it's flattened somewhere, because they are saying based on certain factors like, just said scientific factors, and you're not telling us the number of tests you've done, number of, compared to the number of people who tested positive, negative, so that they do a comparison over time and see exactly how we are right there.
Okay, so moving on. Daily Sun. Police flood Edo ahead tomorrow's Gobet poll. Money laundering, 13 rich Nigerians under probe. Unilag crisis, Babalakin resigns as governing council chair. Veteran actor Jimo Aliu dies at 86. Southeast Army plotting another Python dance, ADF allege. Okay.
So the CBN is moving concerning, just a few days ago, CBN released the fact that a few companies were found contravening the Forex, they abused the Forex infractions, and they were penalized. But today's own, they released the names of about 16 individuals whose accounts, Forex accounts, have been frozen, most of them involved with betting. all the directors, their debutus, the father and the boys, all of them, their foreign accounts have been frozen. Even our honorable House of Representatives, that is Naira Bet, also frozen, Bet Niger frozen. A lot of these betting companies are found to have domiciliary accounts, and the domiciliary accounts, they want to freeze them to now audit what's going on there. I'm happy to see some regulation from the CBN part. So let's just not use it to...
You're going to take one more story?
Southeast, yes. So there was a statement accredited to the Chief of Army Staff that they want to declare a state of emergency in the Southeast. And so Association of Southeast Town Unions, ASETU, and Aleibo Development Foundation, ADF, described the statement as very unfair, reckless, and it's like the Chief of Army Staff is taking it too far. They are saying that he doesn't have the constitutional rights to declare a state of emergency in a democratic state, and the fact that it's like a conspiracy to wipe out the Igbo, people of the Igbo extraction, because they've been having killings done in that area and nobody's talking about it. So they are seeking for help from international organizations to really understand what is happening.
Okay, moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. Edo election, Buhari wants politicians, security agents, PDP leaders storm INEC. Governors call for review of water resources bill. UNICEF kicks over 10-year-old jail term on 13-year-old... Sorry, let me take that again. UNICEF kicks over the 10-year-old jail term on 13-year-old boy convicted for blasphemy. I read that story. Oyo APC meets with Ibadan, unites for 2023. COVID-19 curve beginning to flatten. And FG directs account holders to obtain and submit self-certification forms. Interested. All right, so there are a few stories there, and the story about this young 13-year-old is really, really bothersome, and I'm happy that UNICEF is on this. According to them, as we mentioned also yesterday, that the United Nations Convention on Rights of Child, which Nigeria ratified in 1991, and there's also a violation of the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, which Nigeria also ratified in 2000. So Nigeria as a country is a party to these signed agreements. However, there's also the Sharia law, which we are also, that's the conversation.
Let me say this on this. So Kano State House of Assembly again has failed to pass the Child's Rights Act, to domesticate the Child's Rights Act in Kano. And so there will be a conflict of interest, and the judges will have to abide by the laws within which a person is charged before them. I think the laws of Kano State should be made to conform with today's realities. A child is no longer lesser than 18 in Nigeria. It's not possible. So all our laws and our expectations that are religious should be made to conform, because in Malaysia, it's no longer 13 as well. In Saudi Arabia, it's no longer that age. It's now 18. 18, yeah. So we should be made to conform, and the lawmakers should, instead of just earning money, be more, proactive and using their intellect. No form of democracy under our constitution that is upheld by this House of Assembly in particular.
But based on this article,
important to investigate, they lack the powers. When it's important to study an amendment, they refuse to. You have the will to do this particular House of Assembly. I wonder how their people cope.
But interestingly, UNICEF was actually commending them here that they had actually passed the Kano State Child Protection Bill. Although I'm not sure the government hasn't said yes. So that's where we are. But either way, it's a really serious topic, and we need to really look into it.
Civil society organizations to speak up concerning this.
If the government fails, they can
And this self-certification form, they're asking us to.
Because I don't understand.
Me, honestly, let me tell you what they're saying, that everybody that has an account in any financial institution or insurance must fill that self-certification form. And what are they doing? They say that forms are required by the relevant financial institution to carry out due diligence procedures in line with the Income Tax Regulation 2019. So it's related to taxes. But we're not sure how exactly they want us to fill this self-certification form. Are we going to go there physically? Are we going to send us a link online? How is it going to be done? We're not sure yet. But they're asking everybody to fill, and if you don't have it, you might not have access to your accounts again.
So they
didn't give us the time frame. It was just yesterday. We just saw, it was a tweet actually that was sent out.
Once this involves biodata capturing, we've done it with the BVN. If it involves anything, we've done it. So they should use the data that they've gathered. Because imagine all of us touching something that somebody did not sanitize in this time.
Well, I doubt it. Please. I don't know. Well, let's wait for more information. This is still pretty new. It was yesterday we got the tweet, and we'll wait and see how they expect to implement this. Let's go on a break. It's Friday. We have a few topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So it's Friday, and we always have and celebrate your view hero for the week. So this week, we're celebrating Professor Florence Obi. Professor Florence Obi of the Faculty of Education has broken a 45-year jinx by emerging the very first female Vice-Chancellor-elect of the University of Calabar, Cross River State. She emerged top after a rigorous screening exercise involving 12 other candidates. She's taken over from Professor Zana Akpagu, whose tenure ends on November 30th, 2020. Please celebrate with us, Professor
She's so pretty.
Wow.
See the black as it's just shining.
Yes. So, I mean, as I said, one of the reasons why we do this is continually remind Nigerians that we have educated, smart, intelligent Nigerians doing things, great things, both local and internationally. So don't always think we're all about the fraudsters, we're all about the Yahoo. We're actually very intelligent people. And this is also a role model for a lot of women out there, because we have an acting vice-chancellor in Lagos. She's not yet in full capacity, but she's the first. She's now become the very first female vice-chancellor in 45 years. That's a great feat, and we celebrate her.
Especially within the education, the education sector, we like to celebrate. I like to also celebrate within science and the STEM. We celebrate them especially, but we also celebrate mothers and the people that make sacrifices even when you don't know. Because someone sent me one, and I would send it to the producers for us to make out the Hero of the Week next week. Is a local person who's made sacrifices in Nigeria. They're saying, so if you have someone you think should be celebrated on your view for heroic acts or something, just send it to us. We'd love to celebrate them, because the goal is to encourage others that there are Nigerians worthy of emulation, doing great things in Nigeria.
And I'm happy with the gender equality that's happening. So if you're qualified for the job, whether you're a male or you're a female, you get it. The fact that she went through a rigorous process with about 12 candidates and she emerged, even as a woman. They didn't say, okay, maybe probably your children or your grandchildren will disturb you tomorrow. She got it because she merited it. I'm happy.
Knowing that this gender imbalance lasted this long in that profession. A lot of women would have come before her, retired, never made it to the VC position.
But being a VC is a great accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
Height in the educational sector, and I think we should actually...
responsibilities too, because we want her to lift other women.
Sorry?
It comes with responsibility, and we were expecting her to lift other women.
Yes.
If she's gotten there and she struggled to get there, she should not let others struggle as much to get there. So,
on that note, once again, we celebrate Professor Florence Obi. Let's go on a break now. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so this is a rather intense story we're about to share with our viewers. A man reached out to me, and he is having issues because his wife and he had migrated to Canada. And he has a child actually before he met his wife. And the child is staying with his elder sister in Nigeria. He moved to Canada with his wife, and they have 2 girls, and they've been living there for some time. Eventually, they now have a nice house. He now went to Nigeria to bring his daughter to Canada to join his new family. But since the daughter joined the family, there have been issues. So the young girl, she throws tantrums, she bedwets, she's not very, very friendly and kind to the wife at home. She's a teenager, she's a young teenager. Now, so the wife had been having continuous issues with trying to get this young teenager to obey the rules in the house and just be civil. Even the father is being very, very worried that his daughter continuously throws tantrums and continually bedwets, which is a major issue for them. In fact, because she bedwets, the wife actually gets really angry, beats her up. Both of them try beating, they're getting physically abusive of this young lady. Eventually, the wife was so angry one day, she poured hot water on this young girl out of anger.
Abuse new.
On the neck and hand.
Abuse.
Now, the father began to treat this young girl, giving her antibiotics, making sure she's okay, but he's worried. Now, they didn't call the police. I mean, this Canada, they're still managing it within their house. So he's worried. I brought my daughter from Nigeria to stay in my home. My wife also, I'm happy with my wife. I don't want this entire situation to frustrate her further. What can we do? What do I do? How do I fix this problem? Because he wants his house to be peaceful. So our question, therefore, to our audience, to our viewers, if you can call us on 8066814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. We'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'm so happy we have the ladies we have today, because Nima has dealt with these kind of issues. She's a lawyer. She's dealt with a lot of domestic violence issues, matters within the home. Tokwe and BC are also life coaches. So this is your area, and I thought it was important for us to discuss this matter today. So let me start with you, Tokwe. I know, in your view, when you read this story, what came to mind?
I see, when I read the story, I realized that all three people involved, that is the little girl, the teenager, the father who is trying to manage his daughter and his new wife, and the wife who's trying to manage his stepdaughter and manage the marriage, all three are victims of many external forces. And all three are managing this situation wrongly. I know that we tend to think corporal punishment will change children, because we grew up in an environment that feels that if you beat a child long enough, the child will change. But we don't get it, that we are building the defense system of the child to see you as the enemy and not the situation, and feel like he's being victimized. So, and I see them playing that script even in Canada. So, and there are many dimensions to this story that are very, very, that can degenerate further into a court case, into being sent to jail. But isolating it to the three of them, I feel, from the story, I sense a man that is lost, trying to find a solution for the situation, that how can I handle this? I believe that they need professional psychological help for that child, for themselves, to submit themselves for psychological evaluation, because a woman that can get angry enough to pour hot water on a human being,
she's reaching the brink.
A woman that can bring knife and stab that girl.
She threatened.
At that point, at this point, it's not a case of let's verbally settle it. It is let's go and meet a psychologist to first debrief this entire situation, and they must do that with immediate effect.
Yeah, so I agree with you, and I also want to add that what I see is the fact that they do not really understand how to handle that child, because teenagers come with their own baggage. I had a friend who came to my house recently, and she started narrating to me what she's been going through with her teenage girl. And she said, BC, I did not believe that my child, the way I raised my children, that they would degenerate into this. I did not believe. She was weeping, and I was laughing. I said, why are you laughing? I said, because I did all of those things. I was a teenager. Now, another thing is, they need to understand that girl bedwetting at that stage is definitely a psychological problem.
So
it's not something you use cane for. There are kids who bedwet from 10 to 15 because they're having serious issues. And so the thing they need is to understand, was she abused? What conditions was she under before you came to pick her? So you need a lot to understudy that girl and see where she's coming from. Then also understand that as teenagers, they throw tantrums. That is how they live. That if it was your own child, they would do even worse. It doesn't matter how you train them. It's just the phase that they are passing through. So when you have that understanding, the woman in question also needs to understand that when you're getting into a marriage and there's a child outside, understand that that child will see you as an enemy because you are the stepmother.
All the time.
No, hold on. No.
The initial perception,
yes, that's the initial perception. You may not exhibit it in a very harsh way, but at the mind of that child, my father and my mother are not together, you are my enemy. I grew up with several stepmothers, and I was very horrible to them as a young girl because I did not understand. It wasn't as if my mother was telling me something in my ear because I didn't even know her at that time. But naturally, the fact that somebody else is in the space where my mother is supposed to be, I'm bound to have that reaction. So they need to understand her, and that woman needs to go through anger management classes. You don't do that.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so this is a really, really intense issue because we really want to help this family. They reached out to us, and we'd like to hear your thoughts on it because we have callers who are very wise in their own space, and let us know what you think about this and how we can help this family resolve this issue. Nima, let me come to you.
Okay, so since the objective is to help the family, because I don't want to be too far from the situation. If I wanted to be myself, I would have accused the man of aiding his wife in abusing an innocent child. But now, because Tope has brought in all the psychological and whatever issues, let's just assume that, you know, everybody is dealing with their own. So I would advise him, this is Canada, this is not Nigeria where some connections can help. Play her a video of the consequences of those who've done it in the past. Let her see, walk her through the possibility of abusing that child before I will now go traditional. Now, in Africa, there's a proverb, this child, whether you like it or not, is the elder sister to your two daughters. This girl will be the example to them. They might be little, they might be quiet, they just keep watching.
Observing.
I have two elder sisters. I can tell you for a fact I don't think like them. I do not. I saw the corrections of my elder sisters and I didn't make the mistakes they made. So imagine that you focused on making this girl better. You would either have mastered the art, because adolescence is a stage.
Yes, so
we all had our own. I got beaten very well by my mother. Even though my father was patient, I had my own, forget the hijab. I did a lot of things. I got well beaten. Because my mom, and she will never beat me when she's hungry. My mom can tell you, okay, now that you have done this thing, go upstairs. I'll see you upstairs. And in 2 weeks' time,
that's when you collect
she will tell you, that last time that you did, I'm telling you, she will calm down when she's giving you the beating. She's correcting you and you won't miss it. But the beating, she will give you very, very well. So I know for a fact that you would have mastered the art of raising girls. And raising girls is serious.
Yes, so
4 sisters, I can tell you, it's not beans. Raising girls, raising proper girls, raising the kind of girl that you want from raising this girl. If for everything you do, you put yourself in the position that I can't send her back. I want to see her better. I must make do with it. It is that woman who will walk the girl to psychology, to coaching, about the counseling. It is that woman who let the girl be said, I don't want to go, drag her by the hair. Let it be you who is making all the effort to change.
Now, I don't want to be so easy on the man in this, because I feel that he should be a man in this relationship where you are the head of the house.
Yes.
Your daughter has been brought in. First of all, understand on one condition she was in Nigeria. Have a conversation with your sister. What happened to her? Do a proper investigation. Then when you now bring her on, you're coming from a position of information where you are now a father, a shield for her, a counselor, somebody she can believe and trust in. She must know that you have her back. Because as Visi has said, there's already a perception that, okay, this is my stepmother, they don't want me here, they hate me. She might have that. So as a father, you need that continuous reinforcement that, listen, I am here for you.
I
wanted to disagree with that.
I read that entire conversation and I saw a man that was helpless. You see, there's a level of knowledge all of us have with our self-development that many people don't have. We are among the very few people that understand that as parents we should study, we should research, we should know our children. Many people don't know it. The template they're using is the template they used to raise them, which is beat the child for being stubborn. If you are bedwetting, I've told this child not to bedwet. If you bedwet, let me know. The child now bedwets and folds the stinking bed sheet and hides it. The reaction of any parent in Nigeria to that is to beat that child. Why are you being naughty?
It's not a big deal.
Here is it. But here is the perspective that I want us to push. Is that many parents are struggling with teenagers who are acting out. It is normal, and I used the description to coach someone. I said, you don't beat a 4-month-old baby for drooling. It is normal for a 4-month-old baby to drool. It is a teething process. So you don't beat a child for doing that. What you do is understand and nurture the child till they pass through that process. What he's doing is alienating his child at the point where they need parental support most. She's developing, she's feeling emotions, support and provide help. And how can you do that? It is by studying. Parenting requires you to learn. Observe your child, study. And you are a man, you are the head of the house. It is your foot on ground that will determine how everybody would roll. Okay. Shield your child.
So let me quickly disagree with Obiajulu that the girl might see her as an enemy. That's too general a statement to make. So the girl might actually see her as the way out. But this girl imagine, she should come from that place of empathy that this child was left to the person that kept her was not her parents. Both parents left her to somebody different. And just imagine, let's not assume correctly, but let's just imagine that as a child, she was also tossed around. I saw a friend growing up who was left to family members, and she was almost like she was like the house girl, everything to the family members. Everybody thought, you know, I could send her on any errand. Everybody had one thing or the other to correct her. This girl grew up with the bitterness, the complex, everything abuse. She had inferiority complex after she was, you know, an adult. And a lot of other mistakes that she started making in adolescence and into her young 20s was because of those actions. So assume that this was what kind of difficulty happened in her past. The only situation that you must send back such a child is if the parents, while alive, are the ones telling the child not to submit to you, if your intentions are good with the child. But if not, work at it with that child, because if it was your child, you will work at it with your child.
Let me take this call from Francis. Francis, are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
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 I'm Pastor, and I greet every one of you. I love the way you are doing things.
Thank you,
Everyone
sir.
will help you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah, I'd like to contribute to what you are saying.
Yes.
Number one, it is not ordinary. They need prayer. The guy in question needs deliverance. Nobody would like to be bedwetting at that age.
Yes.
So it's
We
a
should
problem.
help her out. And if the father loves the child, provided the mother is not around, it should show her love. Very, very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Francis. Yes, be
So there was something that helped me even when I was growing up without my mom in the house, and I had different stepmothers come at different times. The fact that I knew that my father had my back, though he was he wasn't the kind of new generation men that we have that will have conversation with, like I see my husband having conversation with my daughter. He wasn't in that space, and I longed for him to call me and ask me exactly how I feel on issues, even as a teenager, which I never had. But he made one thing very clear: you cannot mistreat my daughter while I'm here. He put his foot down, and so even when the stepmothers want to beat me with cover of pot and toningari and everything, they always had at the back of their mind that there's a limit to what they can do, because if Obueshi catches you, that is the end. So I need this man to stand on his own 2 feet as a man, and say, whether it's your own children that you gave birth biologically, you cannot treat any of my children like this. That is one. Then secondly, one of the reasons I made that statement is, you know, normally when we hear a daughter is misbehaving to the stepmother, we always think the mother is there giving them stories. There was nobody giving me stories. For me, I just believe it's a natural instinct. Children always like to have a close-knit family where mommy and daddy are there. And peradventure, it doesn't happen. It's not like it's wickedness towards the other person. It's just me feeling that somebody displaced somebody that would have been my own. Yes. And you see it acting out. And even when it's a close-knit family, teenagers have been known to go through different phases. So if you need to go to school, if you need to read books on how to raise these children, read books so that you can help your daughter.
Okay, so I wanted to quickly beg the man that you should stand your ground doesn't mean you should pitch your daughter against your wife.
No, not at all.
You have to, if you need to go for counseling yourself to be prepared for what this task that you're about to take on, I think you should first of all cook yourself very well before you serve anybody anything. So that you're not pitching her and you're worsening the enmity between herself and your daughter.
You guys are not talking about, you're not talking about the wife since morning.
No, we are coming. We have already said she should be watching video. Do you want us to go for her? Because she's not like.
Let me take Temitope. Temitope, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, please.
How are you?
Very well, thanks.
I want to chip in a little.
Yes, please.
The topic for today.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
You are really talking about me.
Wow.
I never knew my husband has a daughter when I met him.
Wow.
So by 7 months, when my pregnancy was 7 months, I discovered he has a daughter. I asked him to bring the daughter home, that I would take care of her, which I did. But you won't believe it, what I passed through, what I went through with this little girl. But I never opened my mouth to tell my husband. Wow. I was just managing it, to the extent when she started telling people that I'm not her mother. But I don't care. I still manage her up to today. When she was in her final year in Oduduwa University, I talked to her. My dear, please, this is your friend. Don't do this. She abused me in the presence of her friends. She do all sorts of things to me. I did not talk. I had to call to her, pamper her, talk to her, my baby, this and that. Later, she realized that what I was saying was right. I did not knew that she was angry because my husband did not marry her mother.
Simple.
So I called her to order. I talked to her. At the end of the day, the friend that was warning her again, they snatched her first lover. They snatched her first lover. So she came back to me. She calmed down. I never knew she was connecting with her mother, including my husband, pretending to be nice. But I didn't care. I just stood on my feet and I looked onto Jesus, onto the author and the finish of my faith. I keep on working with her today. To God be the glory. She's earning a good salary.
Oh.
She's good.
I want to clap for you.
She's taking good care of me right now. I even love her than my own daughter that is in UK. I open up to her. I let her know everything that is going on that is happening to me. I let her know everything about my business. I don't have money, but I bless the name of the Lord. I'm okay. My sister, the woman should be patient with her. I support Obiajulu. The woman should be patient.
I love her through it.
Oh, thank you so much. I think
so
that's
touching.
pretty much caps it. Thank you, Temitope, for this.
Temitope's story mirrors what Obiajulu is saying, in that this girl might just not unconsciously might be acting out. So subconsciously. What I would say to the woman though is that there's one side. Don't do this. You can't. It's extremely horrible. What you did was lashing out. You were acting out of control. Another part is to understand with her, because I am currently counseling a young lady that is about to go in a relationship with a divorcee. And she's wondering how am I going to cope with the children and all of that. So there is a burden on her that I fell in love with a man I married. I did not expect this baggage to happen. So what I want to let her understand is, accept this baggage is your baggage and is your child. Imagine if your child was the one bedwetting at 15.
Yes, what do you do? Would you pour her hot water?
You know, so even this one went as far as lash out at the woman. So
yes.
No matter how hard things go,
carry your cross and love through.
With which you tell the child, stop doing this. You nasty this. You useless, you know. Or some people, in some climes, you want to wake the person because the child bedwet, you kick her. Wake up, you filthy thing.
Or hit her head.
You know, so that child already, and love. Some people are strong-spirited. If she was a calm child, she would take it, nobody will hear.
People but like me.
The morning she wake up, she'll pour pepper inside boiling water and give you tea.
I'm telling you.
Because she too, she wants to fight back. So don't wake up anybody's sleeping dog. Everybody has their own spirit. I grew up, my mother adopted my grandmother's last son when I was a child. And we never knew my uncle was my uncle while I was growing up. They had this bond, it was enviable. My mom would keep secrets, my uncle knows, and we the children were just looking up like this. So when I grew up, I was in university, I visited an SANS office. I was reading a biography of a woman at 40, and her step siblings were the ones celebrating her. She had achieved everything. Imagine that, you know, with the story I read about how the family was divided, how the mother had to leave, and she was the only child from her own father and her mother remarried and had other children, and her father remarried another, but all the siblings
they grew up together
to know her as their senior, as their elder sister, celebrated her.
Yeah.
I said, this thing is possible. So I started opening my mind to, if this was my story, if I happen to be in a polygamy, will I be able to? I started coaching myself early, looking at my mother and telling myself early.
Something you said, I don't want people to lose. That fact is the spirit.
Yeah.
You know how we grow? We say that we just say it shabbily. But the thing is that everybody has a spirit.
Don't offend my spirit.
Don't
my soul.
My soul.
Offend my soul.
So you don't know which soul that one is carrying. Everybody's carrying a special soul.
Some injuries are deep. They are too deep to be forgiven.
Yes.
So you might be doing it now thinking, I just hate her for bedwetting. And the language, you are developing an injury to an animosity that you will not even be able to take care of.
Let me chip this in.
Think about it on your children.
Bedwetting teenagers are usually result of abuse.
Yes.
Either mental abuse
or sexual
physical abuse.
Yes.
So when you see a child bedwetting at 15, it is a warning sign, not for you to get angry with the child, for you to see what is going on. Why would this girl be doing this? Was she abused? Talk to her, draw her in to confess what she's going through, because beating is not the solution.
And finally, it takes a strong woman to raise another person's child.
Yes. So.
And according to the scriptures, the children of the destitute are numerous. So see it as something that God has given to you, a gift that God has given to you to help get into potential. See it as this is something that if I do well, the blessings will, fall over to my children, and just handle it that way.
Thank you, ladies, for this conversation. I hope the family are able to get a few tips from both our callers and also from the conversation we had. We're going to break now. When we come back, we'll have our celebrity interview. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So before we invite our celebrity interview, our celebrity guest, let me take a few tweets from the last time because we have to invite.
Okay, so Nifemi says, "Oh my God, you guys got me crying seriously this morning. God bless that caller, Temi Tokwe. Thank you, ladies. I hope the advice helps this family." Mr. Adebayo says, "How can you justify pouring hot water on someone? That's pure hate. She has to calm down and treat the girl with love and care and show her the essence of life instead of throwing tantrums and causing trouble." Toby Martin says, "This life, genuine love and sincerity is the only way towards a good home. We should learn to love everyone despite he or she is not your child and children. Please learn to love and respect someone who is helping you. It goes a long way."
All right.
So Adeyika Samuel says, the parent has a lot to do for the girl, like waking her up in the midnight to visit the toilet. And most importantly, the girl needs to feel that she's at home by showing her love. That has a lot of work to do. God help them. You know why I took this particular tweet? Because I said, I'd mentioned that, there's a process to how she talks to the girl. Right. So if you want to wake her and say, don't be there, come on, God, she might not, the message might be, please, we have to walk her through.
All right, so our guest, he's a Nigerian actor, accountant, entrepreneur. He began his career in the banking and music industry before venturing into the Nigerian movie industry. Welcome with us, Bolanle Ninalowo, popularly known as Nino B in the building.
You're wearing the name.
First of all, we got to congratulate you for your book. We've been seeing it all over social media.
Thank you.
Goodness me.
Thank you so much.
So tell us in a nutshell why you wrote that book and what it's about.
Well, the book is about my life. It's an autobiography. I've gone from shame to fame. I've been through a lot in life, and I figured my transparency could lead to some other people's transformation in life. And what's the essence of God answering your prayers if you're not going to use it to inspire somebody else? So I figured the best way for me to communicate that was write a book about my life, about my success, my trials and tribulations, and
fantastic.
So we are your Jobestina fans. 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 So this is your English. We don't understand.
Can you drop it a
out the
bit?
streets.
Our
I
street.
thought people were posh now.
Please come down to our level.
Out the streets.
Oh my God.
So I've watched your movies. I think that you're a fantastic actor. And
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And we realize that many people that make the move, crossover from like a structured banking industry into this, they tend to like go through a rough patch in the beginning. And since you said that you've had shame to grace story, we want you to detail that rough patch. Tell us about the journey, how you transition into acting, and help inspire those that are thinking that it doesn't make sense, I don't want to take the risk, or let me just jump in, it's going to be all rosy in real terms.
Oh, well, my success is not acting per se. My success is making it here in Nigeria. Acting was just a process. It was a part of the journey. My goal about 10 years ago was the African dream. I grew up in America, so I wanted to relocate to Nigeria and make it here, make a name for myself and do something like, the Dibanjis, the Weez Kids, and all the success stories that I see, that inspired my movement. So I did a lot of things before even acting. I just wanted to make a name for myself and find why I existed, you get? So, like they say, you have to do many things to figure out what your goal is in life. You have to say yes to many things. And when you figure out what that goal is, then you start saying no to many things so you can focus on that goal. So that's what I did. I just needed to realize what was for me. And I did a lot of things in that process. I failed so many times. And what people didn't realize was I was failing forward. So I failed my way to success today, and I figured it was just time at that moment for me to share the story. You don't live forever.
So one of such that I heard from your interview, when you were promoting Picture Perfect, you were on Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, and I listened to you talk about how your marriage was failing at the time. So after the interview, myself and YK were asking, what would you like? I said, you'd like your family back. How did you make that work? Why I want you to share it is because of a lot of people, like Tope mentioned during our banter, are afraid of this institution called marriage. So the failures that happen for some people, the first failure is usually the end of it. How did you get back your family? How did you make that particular aspect of your life work?
So there's no achievement without grace. I prayed a lot to God. I begged God a lot for forgiveness for a lot of my wrongdoings. I needed to realize, I needed to step outside the box, and I needed to date myself. And when I tried that, I hated me. I wouldn't want to date myself, So that moment of me, that moment of realization made me reflect to see what I was doing wrong to the other person, And, the first thing is, marriage, love is caring, is patientless. You know what I'm saying? It's the first thing, if you can date yourself, if you can try that, look in the mirror, look at the things you do. Like if my significant other did a million of the things I've done in my life, I don't even think she should ever want to see a person like me again. So that's the first thing, is honesty. You know what I'm saying? The first part of wisdom is honesty. If you want to achieve anything in life, you got to be honest with yourself. I knew what was right for me. So it's not about any other person. That's the first thing you need to realize in marriage. It's not about your friends. It's not about any other person, but you alone and the other person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So not all marriages are meant to be. Not all will work, but the foundation in which it's built, is something. Sometimes in life, you're going to have to be able to connect the dots backwards.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just reflected into the moment.
Relationship nuggets.
But I want they will not listen to this one.
Yes.
Date yourself. Date yourself if you like yourself.
Yeah. All right, so you talked about in your interviews how you had faced rejection when you got into the industry. And I want you to relate it to not just the industry now, but other aspects of life for different people. How do you deal with rejection? How do you understand that rejection is not the end? How was it for you? How did you go through that process?
Gratitude, period. If you're a grateful person, see, gratitude is the first key to success. Understanding that nothing is beyond you. Like, I cannot be defeated by any other thing in life. You know what I mean? If you close one door on me, it's just an opportunity for me to knock on another door. Winners don't quit and quitters don't win, period. People got to understand, a lot of people want success, but they just don't want to do the work to get it. They don't want to go through that pain. And there's no pain without gain. So every success story is somehow similar. The same fundamentals apply to all success stories. Rejection. Is overcoming, period. If you want something, so if you don't want it that much, you make excuses. You want it bad enough, you'll make it work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And true purpose. And purpose doesn't have a duration. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle.
You see,
Success doesn't have a duration.
I'd like you to talk to our men, because the truth is that a lot of men are in that quagmire of understanding which side to focus on. They put their hands in a few things, and they're not sure, because everybody wants to be successful, everybody wants to find purpose, everyone wants to feel like I am fulfilled. But a lot of men are having that emotional challenge, especially because when the women, their women folk, are doing way better than they are, especially in marriage, in finances, and all that. As a man who you are holding your own in your own regard, what would you say to men in your own shoes who are trying to find their space, find that thing that makes them man?
First, it's purpose. It's purpose. If you say when you're driven by purpose, you'll never be distracted by comparison or any other thing in life. A lot of things people lack is purpose. Is understanding the why. You know what I mean? And purpose, you don't generate purpose in the middle or the end. In the beginning of your life, you need to know what you want. So a lot of people are already lost. And if you're not purposeful and you get married, you're a lost soul getting with another person who probably knows what they want or doesn't know what they don't want. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a hard situation. First of all, you need God. You need prayers. And for you to be God, for you to have God, you have to be godly. You have to try to do things right. You know what I'm saying? The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
On Instagram,
Yes, sir.
So let me say this. On Instagram, I'm seeing you all muzzle, fine boy, suits, everything. And you're coming here, you're saying God. But on Instagram, you're
But you don't know, you've never known who I am. All you know is just the guy you see on TV
Yeah.
and the image you wish to create for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is the
you
first
pray.
conversation you're ever having with me.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll find out more about your God. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. A home for the strong, the bold, and the resilient. One that has created success stories all around the world. But imagine this, Nigeria. Imagine how much more success stories we can create. How much more growth we can acquire if our people had basic amenities. If we had good roads, good schools to educate our children, good healthcare system, hospitals. Imagine how many people we can empower if we had constant light and electricity. I believe in Nigeria. Nigerians are people of love, hope, and compassion. Together, we can build a greater Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Nina, you told us you believe in Nigeria, you love the Nigerian story, and we can see that in even your approach. But let me join that with the God factor, because people criticize Nigerians and say, we're too godly here. All we do is pray, pray, pray. And you also just tell us that you also pray. So in your view, how do we merge both love for country and love for God?
Which God?
Well, honestly, I don't know how to do that. But I'll tell you what's kind of weird about me is I've probably been to a church once in my life. You know what I mean? I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person. Spiritual in terms of I know how to pick up my Bible and read it, to use it to inspire myself and teach myself and motivate myself and teach. Yeah, very importantly, teach myself into making the right decisions and doing what I have to do. So there's a difference between being godly and being religious. So I think a lot of Nigerians are very religious, but not godly per se.
You have hit it there. But I want to ask, I want to ask you, I'm happy that you hit it. There's a difference between spirituality and religion. Yeah, religiousness. But I wanted to ask you, in one of your quotes, you mentioned the fact that to succeed in Nigeria, largely, it depends on who you know. And we've heard that over and over and over. In your experience, how was it like for you? And how do you think we can do it better so that people succeed based on merit and not just because they know somebody who's in position to help them?
Well, in all places, all countries, I mean, the who you know factor, you can't rule it out anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you had to connect to Bill Gates, you'd be doing something to him. But at least Nigeria, we're developing, and a lot of good things are happening. People, better things are happening. There are a lot of people doing things by merits now. Social media has exposed a lot of things. There's a lot of equality now.
Okay.
Now it's a matter of grace and your hard work. I can speak for the movie industry. Prior to now, you had the marketers who had the power.
Yes.
To decide who was going to blow, per se, because of the limited exposure that we had. But now it's almost an equal opportunity for everybody. You can put a good movie online, and if God blesses your work, it blows, and you're somebody now. But you still cannot rule out, knowing somebody, because in my story, you got to know somebody. If God is going to help you in any way, it's got to be through
use
somebody.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this physique. Now it has contributed to
Physics?
success.
I didn't do physics in school.
You're bad.
Asking by an
All the muscles, because you see, clothes sit well on you. Yes, they do. I see your pictures. You look good. Is that a factor to fit well on you?
He has shoulders.
That shoulder to carry the plate. Please take it as a compliment. But
I take it as a compliment.
Yes. So has that added in any way to the endorsements that you get, the kind of things that you get in your growth?
Alaja.
I didn't get the question.
How has your physique contributed to your success? Don't mind these people.
Oh, immensely. It's everything. It's the whole package. Everything adds to the overall picture. Everything. physical, intelligence,
Thanks.
everything, the positive and negative, that, you know, is all part of the success organogram.
Nice.
Okay, so let's go back to family. And
Right.
I think that we say when you're young, Yoruba proverb says, that when you have a good story, you hide it. But what we see more online are those whose celebrities whose marriages have gone bad and they're everywhere to the extent that you think no celebrity has good marriages. I know you've gone through the roughs, and would you want to share that part of your story? Would you want to let people understand how we can live in the limelight and still preserve your home?
Well, I think I share that every day by me even being on social media. I mean, even being on Instagram. You know, for every opportunity. The thing is, a person asked me a question before. He said, okay, you flaunt your wife and your children, you know, more so your wife, you know, it's like you're trying to oppress. I'm like, number one, yes. I did my book. Do you buy Ferrari and put that stuff and lock it down in your garage? No. You don't understand. But no, beyond even that, but this is how I have always been with my wife. This is who we are. I'm not, you don't see me, I don't think you've been to my page and you see me on a private jet or whatever with my wife or wearing Gucci and Prada and all that. I can wear just slippers and pumps, and whatever I do with my wife indoors is what I put on my page. I don't do anything special. You know what I'm saying? My dream is, the life I live right now has always been my dream. You know,
So-
it's just before, you know, I wasn't fulfilled. I didn't know what I was doing before. I was a lost man before. But, you know, I worked hard and prayed hard, and now I'm proud of
Hallelujah,
myself,
brother.
and I'm living the
You
same
know,
life.
Ladies, we like this kind of conversation. So let me stay on this for a moment. Because sometimes there are those women that see you as attractive, see you as somebody who...
And they want some.
This is just for a little bit. What this one that is flaunting, we still know how we're getting
We
it
can
at the
still
back.
collect
We
it.
still know at some point,
We want some.
we will have access. How do you manage those kinds of women that just
mosquitoes.
stick around?
Those mosquitoes.
They're just around.
I don't manage it. I don't manage it. I don't even pay no attention to it. I don't even know it exists. So let me tell you something. Whatever you focus on also grows. I'm a very serious person. I'm not a saint. Okay? I'm a kind of person that I believe if you want to achieve something in life, if you want the benefit of something in life, you also need to want the cost of it. Do you understand?
The benefits and the cost.
There's no time to play. It's your choice. Life is all about, you're not victims of your circumstances, but your decisions. Period. If I want to wreck my life right now, I know what to do. I wrecked my own life before. I tell the family to pada.
You gave yourself blame.
Benefits.
You mixed that,
You gotta
Mirayo.
make the
He
cost.
said, I wrecked my life
life
before,
before,
and
but
before I
topada.
to pada. That means I rearranged my life,
My life
by
by
myself.
Fantastic.
So,
Well done.
Exactly.
It's so nice talking to you,
It's
really.
a thing of choice.
It's enlightening.
Let's know how, madam, you know, how does she feel about all of this?
what role she's playing in
And what role
supporting you
is she
now?
playing? You know,
How does she feel about what part?
your life, your success, you know, your career path. How does she feel about all of that, and how is she coping with it?
She's supporting.
Well, the truth is, my wife, she supports me, she loves me, but I can't speak for her. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is this: the sacrifices we all make for each other. Life is all about sacrifices. The love, the marriage, the relationship. It's all about sacrifices. Now, certain things probably will not go well with her, but she looks and says, "Okay, this is the sacrifice I have to take. I have to make."
Okay, we
You know
have
what
to
I'm
run
saying?
off.
It's all about I make sacrifice. Do you understand? So if you speak to her, maybe one-on-one, she can tell you even things I haven't even realized is happening.
We have to run. You know, what are you working on?
I'm working on this, Shame to Fame, the book.
The book,
My book is out now.
Shame
Even
to
your
fame.
picture looks
everywhere.
good.
As
You look like
in-
Kabiesi.
Picture.
You look like Kabiesi. Don't mind these people.
Report you to
Anyways,
Mr.
we have to
Zindiri.
run. Thank you very much. You know, we need to bring you
You're
back.
welcome.
I would love to read your book.
You know,
I love listening to
Yeah.
you, and I
Please
think
do.
many people should
Get it
read
at
biographies.
www.bolanle.com on Amazon.
We'll search it out.
Ninalowo, do you have money for your wife to spend?
Lowo.
You got the money.
Oba has no winike. Leadership.
Organi.
Don't get it
Ikozoga.
Have a fabulous weekend. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. That's
Thank you
all
guys
we
for having
can.
me. God bless you.
That's all we can take on the show today. Ladies, do we have any tweets before we run off?
Yes, so okay, one for Nino, so I hope he is watching. I'm a fan of Nino B, and I've always seen him, that's from Billy Kiss. I've always seen him as someone who's dedicated to his craft, disciplined with his work, though I've seen him in more on Yoruba movies I checked out his book on Amazon already. Congratulations on the book launch.
Okay, please let me take this from Andrew. He's praising us. You have great and wise women in Akashat, BC, and TMO Speaks. They speak wisely and grow in wisdom daily. Maybe you should give them shares in the Your View franchise.
Me too, I'm looking for shares. People always assume that me, I have one kind of share. Trust me, we're all employees of TVC. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.